There we go. Hi.
Hi there. How's it
Hi.
going?
It's great. It's wonderful. Thank you for starting early. I've only got so much batter in me to get through the whole day. So,
Well,
without further ado, I will kick off our lightning talks, and we are starting with Michael Langford, an iOS developer making accessible medical and other software for adults, youths, and children's. Listen, I haven't drank all my coffee yet, and you're going to be talking about For the Squishies, which is a delightful title. So I will just let you get going with it.
thank you very much. I have to say, Children's actually works. One of the clients I have works for Children's Medical Hospital. So yeah, that works. Anyhow, hi everyone. I'm Michael Langford. I've been enjoying the Roguelike Celebration a ton. It's been some great stuff. And I wanted to talk to you all though, as if you had a roguelike game, because I know a lot of you are going to go and eventually finish one, even if you're just currently a player, and some of you actually make some really cool roguelikes already. Okay. This presentation is for the squishies. It's about making games work for young children. Now, some of this is console specific, but some of it you could remap to keyboard and stuff like that for PC, because that's where a lot of your stuff is. No problem. And this focuses on stuff that's cost effective because, we only have a limited amount of time in the world, and I want everyone to be able to do the changes they need easily. Okay, let's get going. Okay, this presentation shows you how to meet the appetites of children and their parents, both. It's about making only small changes to parts of your game that usually you don't even care that much about, or you have cared, but you really didn't concentrate that as the core part of your game. This greatly raises your sales figures lots of the time, especially when you go to platforms other than PC. Children have a lot more of everything but PCs because we'll go into that later in the talk. But and anyhow, childhood is a massive forced spending for every parent. Parents buy enrichment and fun opportunities for the children themselves, and you want to be part of that spending. Roguelikes also happen to hit this cool sweet spot because there's a lot of content available at a particular skill level, which isn't the same for traditional one and done big budget games. A kid can play a roguelike many times at a level that's appropriate to them, far more so than something like a Metroid or a Mario Brothers game. Okay, however, every piece of software, not just games, come with an introductory difficulty level that's really hard for some people. You imposed it accidentally. Yeah, it's on the newest players. It's on players who have slightly different time available to them. They may have different attention spans, or they can only read certain things, or their hands are different sizes. Since they're only slightly different, though, you can often serve them with just a little nudge and a little change. Now, here's how you get there. You really don't have to do every step on the path. Doing any of them will get you closer and get you more sales and serve people better. This is going to show you test scenarios. It's going to say, go do this role-playing exercise. And I heard yesterday, a lot of you know how to do that. And really try to think as the people in the tests are instructed to think and act as they are. These tests sometimes will require people with small hands or less proficiency at your game than you, but they don't actually require kids. Every time you hear me mention a kid, the kid is either not present or could be substituted with a smaller proportioned handed adult or something like that. Each test also has those improvements after them, and there's going to be a ladder of games after some of them. Every game in this presentation, I recommend adults go play. Some of them aren't suitable for children, and you'll understand why. But I'm just saying they're all good games, but that doesn't mean they're accessible in these particular ways. And please don't take that as, I hate that thing you like, please hate you. Okay? And first off, kids' hands are small. On the left-hand side there, that's my daughter's hands near the beginning of the pandemic. And on the right there, that's my hands. And you're like, oh, that little orange one on the right, that one would work. They could just buy that one. That's actually an iOS controller. It's not available on the Switch. All of these are the Switch controllers I bought. I actually have like 20, but these are just some good exemplars. So the test is, can a person with small hands do the motion your game requires without injury or discomfort? And again, you can do this with keyboards and mouse with the small hands. And so what you do is you buy a big controller and you give it to a person with small hands. You should try it with other controllers too if you have time. For this and all of these test procedures, they're all written out in the slides, far more than I'm going to go into. And the slides are going to be downloadable afterwards, so you can actually do these on your game. Now, just record the kids' arm, hands, and the game while it's going. Now you watch. You'll see the kids climb up your controller sometimes to play some games, including yours. You'll see sometimes they're flicking a bunch, trying to deal with the dead zone and things like that. Um, in particular, if they have reach problems, go to the in-game controller remapping if you have that. And if you don't, go use the system remapping right in the middle of the test session and move those flipper buttons down onto the top of the controller so they can finish playing that part of the game and they can get used to those modes. One huge problem that almost always will trip up kids, look for issues with chorded held modes. By chorded, I mean C-H-O-R-D, like a piano chord where you take your hands and you play with multiple fingers at the same time. On a controller, it's hard for kids to use, but on a computer, if you, for instance, hit Shift and Command C or Control C on your keyboard, that does some damage to your hands and wrists sometimes, especially if you're bending your wrist. So, like, this is both an injury accessibility thing for adults and for kids. It's they just can't control a controller necessarily. Now, you don't have to rework your control scheme. You can just make it so the people who need it can fix it. You can add a button remapping system, usually fairly cheaply, that will address almost 100% of all parents' issues for most games. You might take efforts to report any to support system ones well, but they're sometimes cumbersome and they don't work for people using multiple controllers and couch co-op. You can also consider changing some of your game modes to being more like an item is what does this, that you swap to that item entirely, then instead of something where you hold the button down to do this. Some of these higher rated games here, they spend a lot of time where you equip an item and you get special abilities or you get a special mode and you can swap between items with a toggle. In some games, they're pretty hopeless as far as like this hopeless hand accessibility thing. Like the new Metroid Dread thing came out. There's 3 chorded modes in that game, and there's not enough buttons to remap those and play the game. So a kid's going to have a problem for a number of years playing a game like that. Okay, now the rest of these are a lot shorter and less deeper commentary because that one right there is a little rough. So now let's see how kids survive multiplayer. Kids survive multiplayer by cheesy strategies. Think of it as writing a stupid AI down, like walk in a circle and shoot left. Then a proficient player plays with the child. Then the child plays along and does that stupid AI that you tell them to do. Now, you're going to want to write down more than one of these, but just think of like monster things, or there's a Tom 7 video linked right there about stupid chess AIs. And I'm not calling kids stupid here. I'm saying these AIs are intentionally not very good. And if they just let the kids survive your multiplayer, then the kid's able to play multiplayer with their parent. They don't have to get a high score or anything like that to feel awesome. They just need to be there along with mom or dad going boom, boom, boom through everything. Now, while they're playing, note what power-ups and items and characters enable the strategy. Also, notice where in your game cheese strategies always cause an end to a run. I understand you may want to fight cheese strategy in your single player, but in multiplayer, you often want to flip the incentives there to make it so cheese can get past this or can make it so it doesn't overly tax shared resources. Lastly, once you've gotten to the point where you finished recording the cheese strategy runs, figure out if you have characters that are the good ones for cheese and that they're not of a gender that some kid may want to play. You don't necessarily have to make a boy and a girl as long as you make it a robot that's not clearly a boy. But the youngest kids will want to play. And at that age, there's like 0 gender difference as far as who plays video games. So like they will want to play the one more like their gender if you don't go ahead and fix that. Okay, next thing up. Kids eat a lot of snacks. They wiggle incessantly. They get up all the time. They hit every bad thing you put in a menu, and they bump every part of the controller. This test is essentially taking the game controller, sticking it in a blanket, and shaking it around. And I don't mean to do this in the action part of your game. That's supposed to kill you. I mean do this in the menu, the pause menu, the load menu in particular. Okay, the real question is, did you delete a player profile that took 80 hours to make? Clearly, you need some more confirmation if you did that, because, adults will do that too accidentally. Does a person end a run when they're on like a pause menu and you do this throw around? Did you accidentally use all the ultra rare super bombs or whatever? A quick fix to this is quickly adding a more complicated confirm screen, like a typing gate rather than pushing a single button, or maybe a math gate if that's even easier to do. Okay, we're moving right along here through our levels. Next up, 2 quick vision tests. Okay, there's 2 scenarios here. One, it's making it so kids' eyes, which are hooked up to kids' pre-literate brains, can play your game. The fix is to turn on one of your other localizations. You're like, wait a second, Michael, I don't have my game localized yet. Okay, then go to your font and hack all the characters to be similar sized characters, but different, and then play the game that way. And congratulations, you just made a new language. And now if a person who isn't you can get through your game, then a kid probably can get through your game. The general fix by this, by the way, is to add more glyphs, like these little hearts in the picture, or like like a bullseye for archery or something like that. Now, for parents, you're also going to be adding more glyphs a lot, and also you're going to be cutting down the text you have on the screen and make the text you have on the screen bigger. Sit 1.5 times as far as normal from your screen or your television, and go ahead and play the game. We're almost done. Attention. This is an easy test. You get a slow system or a slow PC, and by slow PC, I mean spinning hard disk. Put your game on it, run your game, watch the kid play, or the young adult or anyone else. Now, anytime they die right after a load screen, that's what you got to fix. And don't go fix your load screen performance. That takes a lot of work. Instead, add a confirmation screen that partially obscures the action, and boom, you have solved the problem for all of those people, and you don't even have to show it on fast loading systems. Or you can just go add some transit hubs or something like that, like Metroid does. Any of that would make this stop. By the way, this game is great, but these screens kill my kid in this. Next up is shame, and it's not really about shame. Now, writing these things are really kind of hard because they have to work for a lot of different games, a lot of different testers. So I'm going to go through this, and you can ask questions about it later if you want to know why it's set up like this. Okay, you stage a Zoom call with a friend from your phone. Ding, 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 ding. You call them, and you're like doing some work. Your game is on. Okay, they go, wait a sec, I got to, oh, that's my husband's boss. And they leave the room, and Zoom call still on. For some reason, you set your phone behind you. And then all of a sudden you hear that the boss's kid, that's her husband's boss's kid, got left in the room with the Zoom meeting while your friend's not there. So this is just a person that you don't have any relationship with, and you could easily embarrass. Now, you're going to play your game. Anytime you feel anxiety, you may embarrass your friend, take a screenshot. Anytime you may want to turn the sound on in your game because there's something gross sounding or something like that, or something that will attract the kid's attention that is right next to gross stuff, take a screenshot. When you want to make sure the kid can't read the text because it says something that, a kid is going to be embarrassing with. Or anytime you want to offer mis-explanation or mischaracterize what's happening to deceive a child, take a screenshot. If that stuff's on a optional part of your game, or it's behind modes where they can turn off a lot of that, they don't have to turn off all of it, a lot of that, then the game is playable around children. However, if you can't even play your game on the same system, a kid may occasionally turn on, like many games that have really graphic cover art or store art, which is great for adults and sales, but isn't so good for parents because the kid will come up and see someone's ripping their eye off. You may have some adjustments to make it so you can sell more to parents and to children. Anyhow, don't be ashamed of your games. Art should always express the full range of human emotions. This is just about making commercial art, all right? So you can sell more and make games workable for parents. If you have any comments or want variations on this, or if you happen to need any references on the games or any of these controller references for arguments in your company, feel free to use them, and have a good day. Thanks.
Wow, thank you, Michael. Everyone's been really enjoying it, and especially I think it seemed like basically every point to do with children, at least someone in chat was like, oh, that would also be so helpful for me. I mean, like, I have ADHD brain, and the attention point is like so valid. A game loses me if I have to just sit and stare at nothing for a ridiculously small number of seconds. So
yeah, I feel that too. Mormo definitely has gotten me a couple times, or Swords of Ditto has gotten me a couple times with those load screens.
Yeah. I think we have time for at least one question, which is an interesting roguelike specific one from Note, which is, would you consider removing or lightening up the effects of permadeath, like for accessibility for children, or would that ruin the pull for roguelikes? Do you have thoughts on, like, is that something that is discouraging to kids? Or
so one game you will actually see rated higher in my talk, higher than every AAA game, is Son of a Witch. And the default answer here is other than it's just go do what they did. There's a paper in the references section I have where he writes about how he dealt with permadeath, and he actually even made it lighter. And they added extra modes to make it where permadeath is removed. And so permadeath is useful for keeping the game at the level of the kid, which I told you was a big value. But you may also want to give them the chance to not have permadeath so they can experience the rest of the game if they're of lower proficiency, or even a mode where permadeath still exists, but the game is really easy, so they're less likely to encounter it.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And I mean, yeah, it's like, thank you, Caves of Cud, for adding a mode that doesn't involve like proper permadeath. Because yeah, games are hard, even for adults. And that looks like that actually answers to another question from Travis, which was if you could name a couple games that do child friendliness really well. So I guess part of the answer is look at those things in your talk and look at the ones that are rated really highly.
Okay, Son of the Witch, I would definitely go for that. Rayman Legends, if they can do platformers at all, they will enjoy. Stardew Valley, you can eventually get them to, but the economic focus loses some children. Sort of Ditto's actually very playable, other than those the load screen issues. Cat Quest 2 usually is pretty fine. There's a couple challenging ones, and the other one I was going to point out. Oh, I don't have it anymore. I mean, you can get through basic levels of a lot of games, and as long as you as a person are okay with that, that will work well. But anyhow, if you ping me on Twitter, I have a list of like 1 billion games. I mean, literally, I buy them and go like, nope, this isn't going to work. Nope, hey, finally, we found one that works.
Nice.
So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Michael. That was a fantastic talk. And yeah, awesome.